A boy excitedly started showing his father his new discovery. He removed the radio's battery, connected a wire, and spun the fan in the air. Even without a battery, the radio made sound. The father was shocked. William explained that this was the power of wind. When the fan spins, it creates electricity. If a bigger fan is installed, it can make even more electricity that could run a water pump and give water to the fields. This could solve the village's years-old drought problem. To the father, this idea felt like a dream. William said that for this, his father's bicycle, the only one in the village, would have to be taken apart so it could be turned into a generator part. The father's face changed. He said the drought that generations couldn't solve. How could this small toy fix it? In anger, before school, the father grabbed William, threw him to the ground, and broke the thing he had worked so hard on. His father's words stabbed William's heart like a knife. Tears fell from his eyes. But no one imagined that this broken toy would one day save the entire village and end the country's centuries-old farming problem. William was born in a remote village of Malawi in Africa. There, people lived by farming. But whether the crops grew or not always depended on the weather. Because of the special geographic conditions, the rainy season brought months of floods, and the dry season brought months of burning heat. Hunger and poverty were normal in people's lives. Electricity was less than 1%, and one old radio was the only source of outside news. William had an interest in electrical things since childhood. He repaired neighbors' radios to help run the household. He lived in a happy family of 5 that survived on maize farming. But because of drought, the crops were getting smaller. Even then, his mother used her savings to pay William's first school fee. William was overjoyed. He wore his new school uniform, hugged his father, and walked through forest paths to reach school. On the first day, the principal was giving a speech under the sun. Suddenly, heavy rain started. Even though he got soaked, William's excitement for school didn't fade. But after class, the physics teacher called him and told him to pay the remaining fees. If the fee wasn't paid soon, he would be removed from school. Hearing this, William became sad. Poverty was stealing his dream. But William, who never gave up, studied every night even when his house didn't have a kerosene lamp. Because of the bad conditions, his first exam ended with only 62 marks. To improve his studies, he went to the junkyard every day after school to find something that could help him study at night. But after searching the entire junkyard, he only found an old water pump and a useless battery. He didn't know that these two things would become the entire village's hope. When William and his friend were coming back from the junkyard, the village chief was having a meeting with villagers. A tobacco company wanted to buy the few trees left in the village for 15 rupees per kilo to use as fuel for drying tobacco leaves. The chief refused because the rainy season was coming and those trees were the last hope to protect the crops from floods. The company's price was also very low. William's father supported the chief, but the hungry villagers, tempted by money, made a deal with the company. Dark clouds covered the sky and the thunder warned that rain was coming. But the tobacco company's machines began cutting the forest trees. The trees fell one by one, and now nothing was left to stop the floods. William just stood there watching. At night, William talked to his father about the school fees. His father said money would come only after the crops were sold. All of William's hopes turned into disappointment. To reduce stress, he went with his friends to the small village cinema to listen to a ball game on the radio. But suddenly, the radio's battery died. Everyone looked at William. It was easy for him. He ran home in the rain, grabbed the old battery he had saved, and rushed back. In a few minutes, he turned the radio on again. Hearing the sound, the kids started calling him a hero. After the game, William and his friends ran home in the rain. That's when he saw his sister on a date with the physics teacher. In that conservative village, this was a big deal. William decided that he would